Hey there, kids! Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I'm your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha, and it is Wednesday evening. Man, it feels like forever since I streamed. It feels weird. You know, especially since I basically stream every day. It just feels like it's been so long since I've streamed, but it was just yesterday afternoon. So, anyway, we're back. Going to do some fun stuff tonight. Do some scribing. I'm going to show you how to do some fancy notches and things like that. So that should be fun. Now, real quick, Brandon, our mod here on YouTube, he has posted the very first post for 0 Parts Given. Our endeavor to basically just kind of bring everybody, together on a little project here. And first post is up. It's basically about making your own chisel. Just, if you've never scribed before or anything like that, and you don't want to necessarily invest in chisels just yet, making your own chisel is the best way to start out. That's how I started out, and that's kind of what Brandon shows you how to do in the post. Now, if you're not familiar, if you're not sure where to find this, easy peasy lemon squeezy, go to the community section of my YouTube page. It's right there. Sort by newest. You'll see the pinned post for 0 Parts Given, and then just under that, you'll see Brandon's first post there for 0 Parts Given. So really, really cool endeavor, fun little project. By the end of this, you should be able to basically build your own custom weapon for your next project. So that's kind of the ultimate goal of this thing, right? So very, very fun endeavor. Brandon's basically going to be running this thing, and he's going to put it together and all of that. And yeah, we're going to have fun with it, and we're going to move forward, and hopefully you guys will learn, not only from the stream, but from actually doing and practicing these techniques and stuff as well. So yeah, Brandon's got a great idea. He says, "Thanks, Tim." Nah, dude, thank you. And look. He changed his avatar to the 0 Parts Given. Look at this. Look at this. Nice. I like it. It's a good look on you, Brandon. It's a good look on you. Yep, first 0 Parts Given is live, and then Wu-Tang is for the kids. Technically, it's for the children, but I'll let that slide. Anyway, let's see. Gio's with us. What up, Gio? He says, "Hello, everyone. Since Monday was a holiday, yesterday I didn't work. I'm going to be stuck at work forever. I hate taking days off during the week. I hope everyone had a good weekend." Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. And if you have not seen, and if you haven't really visited the community section, excuse me, on the Child of Mecha YouTube page, I highly recommend it. It's a great little resource, simply because folks like Gio have posted pictures of their models. His master grade gun cannon especially is a wonderful example of kind of what the gang is up to and everything. And some of the other folks on here have posted pictures of their works in progress. Mike Dawson, Dallas, Love Death. And, they're doing really good work. They're doing really, really good work. They're learning, and they're applying what they've learned to their models, too. So I'm really, really loving the whole, aspect of the community and everything. So if you haven't participated, I highly recommend it. If you haven't posted, why not give it a go? Show us what you're working with. One of the old songs. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, Brandon says, should be a fun, low barrier of entry exercise. Abso-freaking-lutely. Because, if you build models, you're going to have an old X-Acto knife or an old X-Acto blade. All you got to do is just kind of snip the tip, sand the blade down so you don't cut yourself, and that's how I learned to chisel. So, and here I am now doing crazy shit with chisels, right? So it's a really, really good exercise. It gets you kind of used to the process of chiseling. That kind of dragging out the blade across, across the plastic and everything. Make sure you use tape. Make sure you use, maybe the high Craig scribing jigs or a ruler or something to keep your makeshift chisel nice and straight. But yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, that's how I learned. That was, obviously way before we had, fancy chisels like, BMC, Dispaye, those types of things. So there's nothing wrong with that. It gets your feet wet. It kind of gets you into, the kind of motion of scribing, which is very foreign, to your hands when you first start. Excuse me. So, once you kind of get that muscle memory and everything down and you're into it, if you want to be, then move on and buy you some chisels, some real deals. And then move on from there and just progress. That's what this whole thing is about, is progressing your skill sets. So I think it's a wonderful exercise and a wonderful endeavor. So yeah, we're going full tilt into this thing. Full tilt. Gio says, I finished the weapons, the feet, and the backpack. Gio, have you posted them yet on the community for everyone to see? Or are you just going to just kind of cast that out there and reel us in? What's the deal, buddy? Like, I need more. I need more. I want to see more. Oh, man. Anyway. All right, you guys. So tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow, Amber graduates. She walks across the stage. She gets her diploma, has her cap and gown on, and that's it. She's done. She's done with high school. So, man. Whew, yeah, fun times. Waiting for the top coat to dry. Gotcha. Well, dude, post it when you can. Don't rush it, but post it when you can, because obviously I know I want to see more, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people that want to see more too. So, yeah. Let's see. Brandon says, oh yeah, can we announce that at the end of this series, the best built weapon, there will be a little prize voted on by the chat, will receive a goodie box from Brandon that will have some building materials and possibly tools. Hell yeah. So not only are you going to learn some really valuable skills to kind of move your modeling journey along, there might even be a prize in it for you. So why not take part in it? I think it'll be very valuable to the community. Very, very valuable. Handren Hasaki Art, he says, congrats to Amber. And Gio says, congrats on the graduation. My daughter did her confirmation yesterday. Oh, congratulations. So no more church for a while. Yeah. Oh, for those of you that don't know, Gio has been having to go to these classes at church for his daughter's, confirmation and everything. And he has been, let's say, not enjoying it, which I can understand. So he's a free man. He's a free man now. Gio, you are a free man, buddy. Nice. He says, I'll do more posting on Friday when I get home. Hell yeah. There we go. Nice. Anyway, so yeah, tomorrow is the big day. 6 p.m. Eastern here is when the whole shindig starts at the local community college. And yeah, so it'll be me, Renee, and my mom going, and then Amber's mom and whoever on that side of things. So yeah, we'll be there representing for Amber, and yeah, I'll get some good pictures for you guys, maybe a video or two, and yeah, I'll get that posted Probably on my Instagram stories and things like that. But yeah, you guys, tomorrow's the big day, and she's done with school, basically. Obviously, until she goes off to college. That'll be in August, though. So, but as far as public school goes, finito, done, donezo. So, yeah. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get into some fun scribing, shall we? Let's go camera 2. All right. So yesterday we worked on the shield insert, I guess we can call it, right? Because it inserts into the main shield here, right? So we've gotten our scribing pattern, and you can see it there in the light. Let's see if we can't catch it again. There you go. Right across there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. There you go. All right. Let's go super zoom, actually. Get you a little bit better look. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Now we're super zoomed in. There you go. Oh, perfect angle right there. You can see the patterns and everything that we got. All across here. All up at the top. That's looking really, really nice and tight. Really, really good. Along the side, that little diamond shape right there is looking good. Wrapped up around the front, and then you've got these two chunky panel lines. Where's my pointer? These two chunky panel lines that run parallel to, you know, the red piece here, right? Those look really, really nice. And then yesterday, what we did was we started to add notches, right? And let's get it up close and personal here. You can see it. Let's see. These two right up here are a good example. Right here, and then on this side right there, right? So those are little perpendicular notches, just little things. And you can kind of see how they run. Where am I here? Yeah, this side. You can kind of see how they run, you know, along this panel line. You know, you got one down here, you got two on here, there, 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 and then you got one right down yonder there. And then we did what's called a floating notch. So basically, this is a notch that is not connected in any way, shape, or form to any visible feature. So it's not up against an edge of a piece. It's not up against a panel line. It is basically just what it's called. It is what it means, right? It is floating out in space, just on an open panel there, right? So that's a decently hard little endeavor, because you got to get those edges super, super crispy and everything there. And then what I did and what we'll be doing tonight is this interesting little guy right here, right? Let's get it in the center there. Let's pull it back a little bit so it'll focus. There we go. That is called a stepped notch. So do you see the two different levels in there? That looks really, really freaking good. And then I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but on the top level of the notch, I put even another smaller notch right there. That's a 0.3 millimeter notch inside there. This whole step notch is 1 millimeter wide, but that little itty bitty notch in there, that's a 0.3 millimeter, which is the same size as these perpendicular notches, right? So that is really, really cool. And then once it gets slotted into the shield, you can kind of see the look of it here. You can kind of see right there how that's going to look, right? So that's going to look really, really nice. We're going to put another one on the opposite side here tonight, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a moment or two. But those are the kind of main styles of notches. The other one that we haven't put on here, and I don't know if I'm going to be putting that on here, is these are perpendicular notches, these little guys here. There are also parallel notches, so basically notches that run in parallel with a panel line, but are, you know, significantly wider than the panel line that they're running up against. So say if our panel line here is a 0.15, right, then your parallel notch that would run right up against this panel line, you know, could be like a 0.5, 0.6, you know, etc. Just so that there's differentiation between the two thicknesses of line, right? So, but yeah, those are the major kinds of notches that we're working with here, or at least that I work with. And then tonight, like I said, what we'll do is we'll show you how to do that stepped notch first, and then we'll get into it from there. So yeah, good stuff, good stuff. All right, let's get caught up just real quick. Let's see, Charles, Mr. Greek Knockos, he's over there on Twitch. He says, evening, I'm back from teaching. Nice, welcome back, dude. And then Eris is over here on YouTube with us. He says, hello, Tim and Chad. What's going on, dude? So, good stuff. All right, excellent. So, let's get this in frame there. Let's get our visor on, and then what we're gonna do, we need a piece of tape here to scribe this in place, so just need to get a bit of Dymo there. All right. Now, the big thing here is obviously symmetry. We want the distance from each other and from the edges to be equal. So let's do a little bit of measuring here first, and then we'll see where we're at. This should be about 3-ish millimeters. Yeah, just, and it's about 2.5 from this edge here, about 2.5. Okay, cool. So that works. Let's see. So if we're scribing in a millimeter, so it should be 3.5 millimeters from that side. Because I want to put it on this side of the notch, because there's more surface area for the tape to grip onto, right? So that's what we want. All right, so let me quickly mark this with my pencil here. All right, so we're going in 3.5, which is right there. All right, perfect. That was almost perfect placement of my initial little pencil mark here, but not bad, not bad at all. Okay. Make sure this is nice and straight and perpendicular with the bottom edge here. Okay. And let's just do a little bit more measuring here before we get into it. 3.5, dead on the money. All right, cool. And then this, 3.5. All right, sweet. Okay. Real quick. Kelvin, Mr. Kelvin Branham, he has a question for us.
We have a question.
He says, hey, they just got in, and are you using a 0.15 or a 0.2 chisel for lines? That's a good question, Kelvin. I always use a 0.15 for 1/100 and bigger. Anything below a 1/100, like a 144 or something like that, I will use a .1 chisel for my lines. But I always for panel lines use a .15. Now, when it comes to outline scribing, so outlining a feature like this red part here, I'll actually move up to a .2, just because I want the shadow around the feature to show up, because what that's going to do is that's going to pick up just a little bit more of the panel lining fluid when we get to that point, and it's going to cause a shadow, and it will look like that piece is really separated from everything else. So like on here on the shoulder, right, all of this plastic here, all the white stuff that I put onto here is outline scribed in .2. Same thing for the fins here on the lower leg. Everything is outlined in a .20. Even the little wraparound feature on the back there, I know it's probably hard to see, but that is outlined there in a .20. So yeah, so good question, very good question. Let's see, Mr. Mad Havoc is with us. He says hello all. What's going on, dude? All right, excellent. Excellent. All right, so what we need to do now is we're using, again, a big old 1mm chisel here. Now I know obviously 1mm doesn't sound like all that much, but for this particular scale, yeah, it's a good amount. It's a good size. All right, so let's do one more measurement here. How far did we come in? About 3? Yeah, about 3mm. Okay, cool. So here we go. First things first, if you've watched me scribe before, you'll have heard me talk about setting the line and setting the corners. This is your most crucial part of scribing, really anything. Is setting the lines and setting the knot, or setting the edges and corners and everything. Simply because you want these lines to be as sharp as possible, and the sharpness comes from the top level of plastic, the surface level, right? So getting that nice and sharp is absolutely crucial. So by setting our lines and setting our corners and edges and everything, we make sure that top level of plastic stays sharp as possible anyways. And by doing that, we just use very, very light passes to begin with. And then once our edges are set, then we can go about the depth. So right here, very, very light passes. And you can see just the little shavings of plastic we're getting off of the piece here. And there's not really a set number of passes. I mean, you may find that your particular style and technique, you want to count passes. I don't. I eyeball it and I kind of feel it out as it goes. Because at some point, what you're going to notice is the top edge of this notch, your chisel's going to run into the edge, that kind of wall that's built from scraping down, and that's when you know your edge has been set. Mine is getting really, really close. There we go. Now we're going after the depth. Now we can start to apply a little pressure and really start to move some material. You still don't want to use a ton of pressure, but a little bit more than when you're setting your edges and corners and everything. And for this, obviously, since there's going to be 2 levels, you need to be aware of your depth, right? Because it's very, very easy to scribe right through the plastic if you're not careful. But that's looking pretty close. We're going to go a few more passes, I think. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at trying to look kind of down the profile. Like I'm holding, this is in line with my eyes, right? So if you're looking at this thing, this is kind of the view I'm looking at, right? Is like right along that edge, so I can try to see inside the notch itself to see what the cross section looks like. That's basically what I'm trying to see here in terms of depth. And that's why I say I got probably a few more passes to go before I hit where the depth that I want to get this at. I think that's where we should be. All right, cool. So now that we've got this to depth, we've got the edges set, everything like that, we don't need this tape anymore. This tape is just going to get in our way. So we're going to remove that and toss that, actually. All right. So get rid of that. Now, let's do a little measuring here because I feel like this is shorter than the other one. Let's see. Yeah, it's about 3 from the very edge. This is about only 2, so we need to add a significant amount of length to this notch here. So, not a problem. We'll just nibble away. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have gotten rid of the tape. Let's get another piece going here. Yeah, I think that might have been premature here on my part, you guys. That happens. That happens. I thought we were good, but man, we were not. We were just a little off. All right, so there's that. Let's get this back into place here. Right up along the edge of this thing. There we go. All right. Get it popped in. All right, so now we've got our edge back. So now we can start getting this thing back into gear. Let's just adjust this a little closer here. Right about there. There we go. All right, cool. So now we're just nibbling away little by little here. Okay, let's check the length of that. We're very, very close. All right, cool. We are very, very close. Okay. All right, let's do some measuring. It should be good right there. Perfect. All right, so that's now nicely aligned with that. We're going to hold on to that tape just to be on the safe side. All right, so there we are. All right, so now we're going to basically do the same thing that we did before. We're going to set another edge here, but with inside of this notch, right? Just looking to make sure that both of these are looking pretty good. All right, I just need to flatten this out just a bit. There we go. All right, perfect. So now, right about there, set our edge. Do a little bit of measuring here. It's about 1.5. Bingo, on the money. Cool. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing, just inside the actual notch here. We're just going to very, very lightly set this other edge here. So you kind of see it coming together. You can see that stair step line right there in the middle. Same as this one on this side, right? So we're looking pretty good. Now we just need to add some depth to the front section here, to the lower step. There we are. Getting there, getting there. All right. Let's get a little bit of material out of here. There we go. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. That's nice. That's nice. All right. So let me sand this off a little bit here. Okay, so there we have our stair step, right? You can see that in there. That looks pretty good. Nice and even with the other one. All right, so now we're basically done with our 1mm. Now we're going to grab our 0.3 and we're going to do that inner itty bitty notch, right? Now, this is a little bit tricky. I won't lie. It's a little tricky. But what we're going to do, we're going to freehand this thing. And we're going to get this as close to center as possible. And again, we're doing the same exact thing. We are setting the edge and the corners first. Light passes. Go. Cool. All right. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So yeah, those notches can be, these notches, especially these stair step notches, they can get pretty thin in the lower part of it, the lower step. But there, of course it drops. Why wouldn't it drop, right? But there you have two stair stepped notches with an insert notch as well. So let's see if we can't get this maybe a little closer for you guys to see. Yeah, see there's this one on this side. That looks good. The other one looks pretty good too. Yeah. Matchy. Now, pop them into the shield itself here, and you can kind of see what that is going to end up looking like. So, yeah, that's really good. Really good. Cool. So, there you have it. Stair step notches, you guys. It's not easy, but as you work up in your skill set, you can start to tackle these types of things. And practice is always the biggest thing. Always practice. You know what I mean? So, that's the big one. Anyway, let's see. Let's go back to camera 2 here real quick. Let's get caught up in the chat, yeah? All right, so let's see. Brandon says, sorry, was making a few pounds of icing. Nice. Brandon says, crazy tomorrow Amber graduates. Makes me feel old. When I found the stream, she was in middle school. Dude, most people, you know, the first kind of go round of the stream, yeah, she was in middle school. When we moved here, She was going into her last year of middle school when we moved into this place. So, yeah, I mean, she's grown up. She's grown up big time. So, yeah. Bill says, Brandon, I might be able to add to that goodie box. If I can, I will add it into the flat rate box with the Warhammer stuff I'm sending you. Oh, nice. Well, that's cool. And honestly, I might throw in a few things here too, because I've got some things, just some different tools that I have kind of lying around that I'm not using. So I may throw some stuff in there too. Yeah, I may throw some stuff in. Let's see. Matt Havoc says, I'm waiting on a package, hopefully getting Friday. Ordered some more tools and also getting a high-grade Zaku from Gundam Seed Destiny. Nice. Nice. Brandon says, that would be great, Bill. Hell yeah, that would be great. Michael Dawson, what's going on, buddy? He says, just got home from work. How goes it, everyone? Everybody's good. Everybody's good. Let's see. Mike says, you know, when I see the modded head and upper torso, all I see is the OG Starscream. Haha. Oh, what of that right there? It does kind of look like Starscream a little bit. I won't lie. But he'll look different. He's just kind of blocked in right now. He's not even detailed or anything like that. So we just got the kind of silhouette done at this point. So Geo says, I have 2 kits ready to paint. They're sanded, sonic cleaned. I have, excuse me, the real grade, the new Gundam. But after what happened with the real grade Shin Matsunaga, I'm hesitant to paint another real grade. Yeah, I mean, you know, real grades are not necessarily my flavor. Gio says, and I have a master grade GPO3. This weekend I'll start working on one of them. There you go. Matt Havoc says, working on a Jin type high maneuver. Nice. Brandon says, community, you guys are the best. Hey, man, you know, we got to support this thing, you know, nurture it, right? Nurture it. So anyway, all right. So next thing I want to do is I want to go back, especially for you guys that are tuning in on the nighttime stream. I want to go back and scribe in this floating notch because I want to show you that, because I think floating notches especially are one of the more tedious notches to do, but they're also one of the best notches to do, simply because they just add something to a look of you know, a piece of armor that just, I don't know, sets it off. A lot of the Japanese modelers that I follow, especially on you know, Twitter or X, whatever, they use, you know, all of these notches in combination, right? You look somebody like Josh Dara, again, you know, back when he was building models, he kind of used all of these notches and combinations and everything. And then on a lot of my builds, I use pretty much all of these in some sort of combination, right? I'm not too much into the stepped look all that much, just because it's just, I don't know, not necessarily my thing. But for this, I thought it would look, you know, really, really good at the bottom of this shield insert here. But for the floating notch, we're going to get on that here next. And let's get the 1, 2, 3 blocks in here. Let's get that piece of Dymo tossed. Let's kind of get that centered. Let's go back to super zoom real quick. And let me take a drink because I am parched. Alrighty, good deal. So, with that being said, let's get this guy centered there. All right. So right here is our floating notch, right? That's a 1.5 millimeter offset from the actual edge here. So what I've done is cut a bunch of 1.5 millimeter strips of tape down, and real easy to do, especially if you have, you know, some high Craig scribing jigs. I've shown this in the past, and won't go into it again unless somebody, you know, really wants to see it, you know, and if you do, you know, let us know in the chat. So essentially what we do here is we just strip this off, right? And honestly, we don't need that whole strip. Where's a shorter piece? Here we go, right here. This, I think, will be good. Let's see. Yeah, I think this piece right here will be fine. Make sure the edges are nice and clean, no grit or dirt or any grime picked up. Okay, there we are. All right, so 1.5 millimeter, and we're going right along here approximately, right? And we just want to get that right on the edge. And I'm not pressing it down just yet because I'm looking down the length of this. So again, this is what I'm looking. This is my point of view right down here, and I'm looking down this edge to make sure that this piece of tape is right along that edge. So this is my POV basically, right? So that looks like it's right on the edge. So we're gonna press that tape down and get it affixed to the surface there. Let's make sure, yeah, that's good. All right, cool. So we've got our first piece, or our piece of Dymo, and this is all we're gonna need here. Now, we need to measure and see how far the top of this notch comes down from the panel line. That is 6 millimeter. All right, so 6 millimeters right there. All right, so we're gonna need that. And then what we'll do here, since I don't have 3 hands, I'm gonna set this right here and rest it on the piece. And let's see, I'm going to put a little mark right here on the Dymo. Just a little bitty mark. Oh, that's at 7, not 6. Son of a bitch. Okay, no problem. All right, so there we go. So I put, see that little mark right there? That runs right across there. That's the top mark of this notch, right? That will be the upper limit of this floating notch. Now, we need to measure down and see exactly where the bottom is. The bottom, 8.5. Yeah, little, I would say a little bit over 8 millimeter. Okay, little over 8 millimeter. Wait a minute, measure twice, cut once. What the? Bottom is, yeah, okay. All right, I'm just making sure. Just making sure here. So that's only 2 mil? Yeah, it's only about 2.5 millimeters. That seems longer. Wow, okay. All right, all right, all right. 2.5 millimeters it is. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so we've got 1, 2.5. Right there. Bingo. All right, so now you can kind of see both of our marks on that tape. That's our upper and lower boundaries for this floating notch, right? There we go. So this notch is a 0.60 width notch, okay? Yep, very nice. Okie dokie. So, first things first, you want to pick what side you want to begin with, right? Let me just readjust this because it came off the edge just a wee little bit there. There we go. Pick which side you want to start with. Doesn't matter which side you start, but what we're going to do, again, is to set the edge, set the corners, right? That's the important part of a floating notch. So I'm going to start with the lower edge, right? I'm going to go right up to our mark. And we're just going to start light passes. And we're not even going to go to the other side. We'll worry about that step here in a minute. We just want to get this first part done. Very good, very good. All I'm worried about right now is making sure I have very, very sharp, crisp corners and lines at the end of this notch. That's my only concern right now. And you can see all those shavings, right? That's perfect. All right. And at this point, we're nowhere close to our top mark. We're nowhere close. We're about still a millimeter away from it. Like I said, we are just getting these edges set. There we go. That'll about do it. All right. All those shavings out of there. Good. All right, so now we turn it around. We do the same thing on the other side, right? We just get these, the next edge and corners set, okay? That's what we're focused on. So we start at our mark, and we do the same exact thing, okay? And there we are. We're starting to get those shavings out of there. Very nice. Very nice. And you don't want to go all the way to the other edge at this point. You just want to drag out and set these edges. We'll worry about depth here in a minute. We just want to get these edges nice and crisp. There we go. There we go. All right, cool. So now we've got both edges set. We're in business. Now, let's get the debris out of there as much as humanly possible. And now we'll start to smooth out and level the bottom of this thing. because there's going to be undulations at the bottom of this notch, right? Simply because of where you're chiseling and scraping and everything. So we just want to use very, very light passes and level it down to a consistent level. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be good enough. And I think we're about there. Let me peel the tape off because we've got everything set. And that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. It may be a little longer than the other one, so we may have to do some adjusting, and that's fine. It happens. Best laid plans of mice and men, as they say. Sometimes you gotta call an audible and change things up a bit. It's part of customizing, that's part of scratch building, and that's all part of this hobby, really. So sometimes you have to go off script. Yeah, and see, that is probably about a millimeter lower on this side than it is on this side, right? And feels like this one may be a little, the top of this one may be a little lower than this one. Okay, no problem. No problem. We can deal with that. Let's get caught up in the chat real quick before we move on, yeah? Let's see. All right, let's see what we got. Nightfall art? I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll just call you Nightfall. He says, hey, I'm planning to buy my dad a Gundam on Father's Day. Nice. What Gundam should I give him? Ooh, nice. Brandon says, has he built one before? Yeah, and so does Mad Havoc. Not yet. He's always wanted one his entire life. Wow. Okay, cool. All right. I like where this is going so far. Bill says, that is a pretty broad question. If he is into Gundam, what factions does he like? What is your budget? How complex do you want the build to be? That's a great point. Mad Havoc says, when I started building Gunpla, I started with the high grade. I find them a lot easier for beginners. Yeah, hell yeah. Brandon says, I was going to say you can't go wrong with a good high grade for your first build. Let's actually go to camera 2 while we kind of help Nightfall here. Let's see. Personally, my limit budget is $50. Okay. Since I'm also considering to add Bandai pliers and stand. Okay. That'll still get you a good model. Well, get your dad a good model, I should say. Hell yeah. Bill says, let me give you a for instance. Okay. For me, who loves Xeon, Bill, a Dom or a Zaku would be ideal. Then for a first-time build, high grade, maybe dream build would be the 1/60th scale, I do Dom, which I have in my backlog, actually. It's funny enough. But he said for that price, I would recommend a master grade Jesta. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad one. The Jesta is amazing. One of the best master grades I've ever built, obviously. Let's see. Hey, there's George. He says, hey, Tim and all, Mr. Old School Gunpla. George, I didn't get a chance to watch your stream today, but I saw the thumbnail. Buddy, the Mecha Army shirt. I love that. Thank you for still repping. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go back and actually watch it, but I did see the thumbnail on YouTube today, so hell yeah. Pull a Mike Dawson and get him the new version cut. Jesus Christ, Mike. You know what? Let's do this real quick. Let's help Nightfall out here with this. Let's get some good suggestions. first off, I guess, Nightfall, do you have a preference on like where you shop or like where you're going to buy said model? Because I think that's, obviously going to matter. So let us know if you have a preference of where you like to shop, and then we can kind of go from there. If it's like, USA Gundam Store, one of the other ones, obviously I have a preference, but hey. Yeah, dude, let us know where, I guess where you want to shop first, and then we can kind of go from there, I think. Because like I said, that's going to matter, right? But in the meantime, let me look at something here. Let's see. Now, while a Master Grade Jesta is freaking amazing, right? Amazing. It may, and I hate to say this, it may not be the best starter kit. And it is also right at that $50 price range too. So you're kind of cutting it close with that, right? So let's see. Hang tight. Let's see what's available in high grade, right? Oh, let's see. Now, let's see. I'm almost thinking a good introductory, kind of a good introductory model into this universe, if he's, never really built anything before, is probably an actual Gundam, right? One of the main, main mobile suits, right? Let's see. Yeah, and Bill has a really... Oh, real quick. Old school dude, of course. Cool shirt, right? Hell yeah, man. It's a great shirt. Bill asked as well, does your dad have a favorite anime series? That would help narrow it down. Yeah, true. Let's see. Let me go back here and see. Yeah, because I mean, like a 144 Barbatos or even like a 00 Riser or something like that. An Aerial, I've heard are really, really good. The Aerial Gundams. The Lightning Zeta is a kick-ass looking 144 high grade. And then you've also got some extra money to play with too. You can get him some other tools and stuff like that. Kind of really go all in and make his kind of first experience into this, a quality one, right? There's also the high grade new Gundam, and that's $34. Like I said, you'll still have a good amount of money to play with, and that's a good sized 144 too. Fairly large for that scale. So that wouldn't be bad. Okay, so Nightfall, he says, I don't know if I should ask him. At the same time, it would be an important question, yes, but I would also like it to be a surprise. Fair enough. Then let's do this. Let's go on a field trip. Hang on tight, you guys. Let's go over to USA Gundam Store real quick, and let's just peruse, right? So let me go back to the top here. These are all high grades. This is the high grade section, right? And like I said, probably one of the main mobile suits. So like here, you've got the 144 Barbatos Lupus Rex. Not my favorite design, but a lot of people really, really like it. Let's see. The Sinanju Stein is a wonderful, wonderful design. But again, it's a little ho-hum, it's a gray-toned mobile suit. So it doesn't have a lot of flash to it. It's got a good size, but not a lot of, colorful pop or anything like that, right? So you go down here, you got your 00 Gundam. Look at that, 13 bucks. Nice price point. You've got your Exia down here for 17. Let's see. Now the Wing 144s are cool, but they're small in terms of scale. So I don't know if I'd necessarily start out with one of those. Here we go. The Lightning Zeta Gundam, right? $26.99. So you'll still have a lot of cash to play with in terms of maybe getting him some other tools, or, maybe even like detail parts, or, option parts or something like that. So you've got a little breathing room in there. The Calibarn, I've heard, is really, really good. That's 24 bucks. The Aerial Rebuild is 23. The OG Aerial is only 18. These are all really, really solid entries, right? Then you've got the Barbatos Lupus at 15 bucks. You've got the 00 Riser, even in the designer color, for 23. That's a great price. And then what I was saying before, right here, the new Gundam. This is what, 34 bucks? And that's a much bigger mobile suit than most of your other ones, right? So in terms of scale and everything, that's going to be sizable, So that'll have a lot of gratification when, your dad's done putting it together. And then you've got the one, the mobile suit that we're working on. Now, obviously, we're working in master grade. We're not working in high grade, but still, the Hyaku Shiki is a wonderful design. And that gold color just pops, right? So these are all really, really solid options here for your dad. You've got the OG Beyond Global here, Gundam. This is what, 28 bucks. So you still, again, have a ton of breathing room. You've got the Gundam XX here, which is a really, really nice silhouette for 24 bucks. Let's see, the Amazing Exia right here, and that's what, another, 25. Really, really good prices here. And you can get a lot of bang for your buck, honestly. The Mark II right here, it's your very traditional design. That was kind of the first Gundam that I saw that I was just like, oh, that's cool, right? Very, very good, standard, average Gundam build. Very, very solid. 20 bucks there, right? Not bad, not bad. Let's see. I probably wouldn't go with any of the unicorns for a first build, just because they're a little finicky and a little partsy. Let's see. You got your standard Barbatos here for 14 bucks. What else? Zeta Revive. So that's a good one. 25. Let's see what else we got. The GPO2. I mean, that's very... that's sold out. Never mind. Sorry about that. Oh, these are all sold out under here. Shit. Never mind. Fuck. Jesus, how far did I go into the sold out territory? Oh, not far. Okay, cool. All right, good. Yeah, so I mean, any one of those Nightfall, I would say, are really, really good entries. Now, let's see here. Let's just take a look, just for shits and giggles, at Actually, hang on. Just for shits and giggles, let's look at the RE 100s. Let's see what's in stock, number one. Ooh, the Bawu. Oh, that's a good one. I do love the Bawu. Now, mind you, this is a bigger scale than your high grades. These are 1/100s that we're talking about, so these are larger. And that's in stock right now, but that's $46.99. So you're cutting it close in terms of price, right? Everything else is either sold out or pre-order, which doesn't surprise me because the RE100 line is hanging on by a thread. Let's go master grade. Let's see what's in stock. Let's first sort. Oh, that's. I was like, wait a minute, the Kshatriya, but that's the master grade SD. I was like, wait a minute here. All right, so let's sort. Price, low to high, in stock only. Okay, so we've got a lot of different accessory parts and things like that. You've got your master grade ball, which is awesome, but again, it's not necessarily a Gundam, right? Okay, cool. Here we go. So here are some pretty good entries. The God Gundam is a really, really good model. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, there are screws in the inner frame, but man, you can get some sick poses with this. The Master Grade Gundam Verka, wonderful model, little bit old, but still, it's in that bigger scale, and it's only $37. That's not bad. That's not bad. And then you've got your Wing Gundams, you got your Verka, you got your Endless Waltz, which are virtually the same. Little bit of a different price point, but that's not terrible. Let's see what else here. You've got your Wing Gundam Zero coming in at about $44, and we're kind of getting topped out here. Yeah, I would say probably quit right here at this line. You got your standard, oh man, good old school Wing Gundam. Like this size, this scale is what I first started out at right here. I watched Gundam Wing as a kid, and yeah, now mind you, I didn't have the master grade. I had the 1/100 no grade back then, so this is definitely going to be a much higher quality model. But man, I mean, just the look, the wings and everything, I mean, come on, like the wings are just freaking cool. Yeah, that is your classic anime Saturday morning type of model. So any one of those Nightfall, I think, would be really, really good entries, for your dad and everything. So, yeah, let's go off our field trip here. But yeah, any one of those I think would be really, really good. Really good. Let's see. Tamiya 123 nippers run the same price as a Bandai nippers and are a better quality. 100%. Yes, I agree with this wholly. The Tamiya 123s are actually what I use right here. These are my nippers of choice. I don't use hardly any other nippers than the Tamiya 123s. So they are very, very high quality and at the same price. So hell yeah. Let's see. Matt Havoc says, I seen the new Gundam Perfect Grade that's over $800. Oof, yeah. That's a price point, isn't it? Whew. Hey, oh. Bill says, here's my final advice on this. A good master grade like the Jesta or Strike Gundam and a fun little SD to let him try out first before trying a master grade. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Brandon says, I think you can't go wrong with the Grandpa Gundam, good old RX-78. Yeah, 100%. High-grade Sandrock was easy to build. I bought one last year, Matt Havoc says. Chris says, ooh, Zaku Thunderbolt. Yeah, that's a good one, too. That's a good one, too. But I would always say, like, if you're just getting into it, and obviously, Nightfall wants this to be a present for his dad, and he wants it to be a surprise. I would probably go with one of the hero mobile suits, right? One of your standard, white, blue, red, yellow mobile suits at that point. Brandon says if you want to buy local and have a Hobby Lobby near you, they sell kits, usually 40% off, so you might be able to snag him a couple kits. That's a good point. I think they run that every other week, something like that. Yeah. Bill says, wait! Nightfall, do you have any idea when your dad first watched a Gundam anime? That would narrow down what his first anime was and what got him hooked in the first place. Ooh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Briggsy, what's going on, Briggsy? He says the Beyond Global is good. It's small, but good. Nightfall says, well, I don't know about that. I would have to ask him, but he's at work, so he might not see my message. He's turning 40 this year. Nice. Okay. Geo says, knowing what I know about Gundam kits, I would like to be surprised by the Double Zeta, the high-grade Double Zeta. Nice. Chris says, I like the RE line. Wish they did more. Me too. Yeah, Briggsy says the Baowu is good, not hard to build either. Yeah, it's back there, but I have one put together and all that good stuff too. So yeah. Michael Dawson says if he started with the wing, you could get him 2 high grades and build them together. It's not bad. If Night falls into it, though, of course, he's got to consider that. Let's see. He says, I did consider the high-grade 144 Dara Blade, but I thought it would be best to ask someone from the Gundam community. Absolutely. And mind you, you're going to get a lot of opinions, obviously. So what I would say, you know your dad better than we do, obviously, right? I would say go on like USA Gundam Store, someplace like that, and take a look. See what's in your price range. And what I always say at the end of the day is go with your gut. Because your gut's not going to point you in the wrong direction. Go with your instincts, right? And always go with your first instincts. Because your first instincts tend to be the right ones. So no matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone suggests to you, go with your gut. Go with what you can afford, and go with what you think that he will like, right? Because like I said, everybody's got a difference of opinion. Everybody's got their own suggestions and things like that, as you've seen. And everybody likes what they like, So at the end of the day, I think what it's going to come down to is something that, what's your dad going to like, I think, if your dad has always wanted something like this, then he's going to be, pleased as hell with anything that you get him, quite honestly. If I was like wanting to get into this, and like my daughter Amber, if she bought me something, like I would be over the moon excited with whatever she bought me, right? Because I'm not going to really know much about it. And just the fact that she put some thought into it and, thought about me enough to buy me something like this, man, any dad will absolutely melt at that point. So yeah, I think if you take that kind of track, you'll be in good shape. You'll be in real good shape. Let's continue on catching up here. Bill says, turning 40, is he from the US? If so, he probably got into Gundam due to Wing or God Gundam when they came on Toonami in the late 90s, right? Mad Havoc says, I got a build Burning Gundam. That was a fun build. Nice. Briggsy says, the Verka RX-78 is good for being old. The Wing Gundam Master Grade is good too. Nice. Bill says if it is Wing, probably the Death Scythe would be best. Maybe. Briggsy says they are not too bad for beginners. The wings might be the hardest part of the build. Gotcha. Lelouch, he says, hello, night crew. What's up? What's going on, buddy? Matt Havoc says, well, guys, I'm off to bed. Had a long day. Hope everyone has a good night. Matt Havoc, buddy, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Let's see. The Hobby Lobby out here has 40% off, 40% sale every week now. Oh, shit. Okay. I thought it was every other week, but hell, yeah. If you got a Hobby Lobby near you, that might be the way to go. Check it out, I'd say, at very least. Lelouch says, if anyone has the old no-grade 1/100 Death Scythe, hell, hit me up. Death Scythe hell? Wait 1 second. Let's see what we have here. I have normal Death Scythe. I think actually I have two. Oh no, that's Shenlong. Okay. Oh, come on now. Get out of there. What else do I have in here? No Death Scythe. Shit. At least not right there. I thought I might have had it, but no. Sorry, dude. Shit out of luck. Shit out of luck. Anyway, I tried. Let's see. Sorry, Lelouch. Let's see. Briggsy says he could try getting a kit. Both like the look of. Never know, he might build it with his dad and like it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Giovanni says, don't get him a Granddaddy Gundam. I have built hundreds of kits and I have Granddaddy fatigue. I have only painted one RX-78. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. If you're starting out, I mean, it's a classic build, you know? It's a classic build. Let's see. Anthony! He says, hi, Tim. Hello, everyone. Anthony, what up, dude? Chris says, my daughter just got me the high-grade Droc C, whatever. And I was super excited she got me something. See? Awesome. Life Death. What's going on, Dallas? He says, greetings, y'all. Hell yeah. Anthony says, Wu-Tang Clan t-shirt. Love it. Have my tickets for the September Ohio show. Nice, dude. That's awesome. I hope you have a good time. Let's see. Brandon says, if you're into it, Nightfall, I think your dad would love it if you built one along with him. I know I would love for my kids to do that with me. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I tried that with Amber. That failed spectacularly. So, I mean, if Nightfall's into it, absolutely, 100%. But I wouldn't force that onto someone because, yeah, that would, in my experience, turn them off even quicker. So, yeah, it is what it is. But Nightfall says, to be honest, I don't really know anything about Gundam. Y'all can judge me for that. Absolutely not. Nobody here is going to judge you, buddy. Nobody here is going to judge you. If anything, we're going to help you. Or at least try to help you, right? Let's see. Bill says, I only recommend the Death Scythe because I have never heard anyone say they hate the design. Fair. Some of the other wingsuits are very polarizing. Yeah, Brandon says, no judgment here. You can get an entry grade kit for yourself for around $11. It's more about spending the time with him. That is true. That is true. Let's see. Bill says, we don't mind Nightfall. Absolutely. Just you wanting to do this for your dad is great. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. The fact it is a world you know nothing about is even more in your favor. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Brandon wants to see if Nightfall is stateside. Let's see. Almanax is with us. What's going on, buddy? And then Anthony says, hi, Pete. Very nice. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, Nightfall, what I would say is, like I said, you know, kind of go with your gut. Go with your gut. Go with what you feel, you know, your dad might like, or what looks cool to you, even, right? And obviously stay within your price range. you know, if you need help, if you need other questions or anything like that, feel free to DM me. Instagram, Facebook, you know, Twitter, whatever. I'll be happy to, you know, give you some suggestions and things. All of that. Very open with all of that stuff. So, yeah, like I said, nobody here is going to judge you. I mean, honestly, I think pretty much all of us here think this is a really fucking cool idea, you know, and really sweet that, you know, you're doing this for your dad. So, yeah, we're very, very high on this idea, as if you couldn't tell, right? So, hell yeah. Let's see. Life Death says, I dislike the proportions of the Master Grade Death Scythe. Really small, kind of odd. I gotcha. Anthony says, I'm up late tonight. LOL, I should be asleep already. So should we all. Lelouch says, LOL, thanks for looking, Tim. I'll find it soon enough. I got you. I got you. Oh, man. Fudu Bailey. What's going on, dude? The Master Grade Death Scythe are the Katoki designs. Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You can't beat a good Katoki design. You cannot beat it. Katoki. I am a Katoki fanboy, if you do not know, or if you could not tell. So, but yeah. Nightfall, like I said, dude, if you have any outstanding questions or anything like that, please, dude, DM me. I'll get right back to you and help you out in any way that I possibly can. So, yeah. Hell yeah. All right. So, you guys, let's kind of yank back here real quick. And because we got, what, about 23 minutes? All right. Let's get these floating notches evened up here real quick. There you go. Oh, see, here we are. Here we go. Trusting my gut then, going for the Dara blade. See? Good. This is good. This is good. Make a decision. I love that. Make a decision, stick with it, go with your gut. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. The Dara blade. Let me take a look, because I'm not familiar. Let me take a look. Hang on. Dara blade. There we go. Oh, no. Damn it. Dara? Yeah, Dara blade. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know what that was called, I'll be honest with you. But I've heard nothing but good things about this particular model. I'd actually like a 1/100 scale of that. That's actually really cool. The head crest thing going on back here. It's freaking dope. Hell yeah. Yeah, go with that, dude. Go with that. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Love it. Yeah, see, Life Death Dallas says that's a good high grade. Fudo says no TV versions of the Gundam wing designs other than the Master Grade Wing Gundam. Everything else is Katoki Endless Waltz designs. Yeah. Chris says also get Mecha Decals, right? Oh shit, wrong one. That's the wrong one. There we go. There you go. All right, good deal. Hey, Nightfall, thanks for checking in, buddy. I'm glad we could help you, man. And like I said, if you got any other questions, feel free to hit me up. We'll help you out. Take care, man. Lelouch says, hey, Tim, could we get a full mock-up of the custom? Would love to see how it looks completely at this point. Yeah. We can do that. Let me kind of piecemeal this little bastard together here. Let's see. Is everything no, not everything is technically together. So it's going to be kind of probably just the upper part of this thing, because the legs are all in pieces. So just FYI. And the other shoulder is in pieces too, so it's only going to be one shoulder at this point. Let's see, where's the other arm? There it is. And then here's the gun. let's see. I did this last week just for my own sake, and yeah, I think it looks fucking cool as shit. You know what I'm saying? I think it's cool as shit. Anyway, alright, so let's get that slotted in there. Very nice. Get the hands wrapped around. There we go. Yeah, that looks freaking good. Okie dokie. Alright, now I'm kind of, like I said, I'm building this kind of backwards here, so bear with me here, kids. Where's the side skirt? I don't know. Shit. Oh, here it is. Here's the other side skirt. Alright, cool. Pop that in there, and pop these front skirts on here right quick. Damn it. Drop the damn thing. Here we go. Alright. And then back skirt. Pop on here. There we go. We'll at least we'll get one leg on here. How about that? We'll get one leg on here. This one is at least together. Yeah, okie dokie. So let's get torso on here. Jolly good. All right, now let's get the shield mounted up here. All right, and then the funnest part of all, the little magnetic bracket, right? Bloop. God, I fucking love that. I fucking love that. Get this kind of posed and positioned here. All right. So that's basically what we've got so far, right? So yeah, shoulders look really good. Dig the shoulders. The click. Yeah, the click. The click is what I fucking live for, right? Shoulders look, or the shield's looking really, really nice. It's all the modifications to the leg. That's looking really good there. I like that. And then there's the weapon in hand. That's a nicely scaled. Yeah, that looks really good. And then we still got a lot of work to do on the head. I mean, we just got the mohawk done up here, and you know, this thing glued together, the faceplate and all that. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially what we're working with so far, right? So yeah, but yeah, I'm really, really liking how that shield's turning out. That's looking really nice. Really, really nice. And we still have a lot of work to do, obviously, on the, you know, the new backpack here, these kind of boosters. We've got to build those back out and, you know, get those blocked in and detailed and everything there. But, you know, so far, everything works, everything fits nicely. So, yeah, I think it looks pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. So there we go. If I could, if only, yeah, there we go. That's a good angle, right? That's a good angle. Yeah. Hell yeah. So there you go. There you go. Nicely done. Nicely done. Alrighty, so, let's see. Ty Fury says, at least the wrong one wasn't the Merry Christmas one. Oh my God, right? Merry Christmas! Fuck, I love that thing, though. Let's see. Dallas says, Tim, I'd love to see you do a down and dirty 1-year War Zaku build diorama. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah. The click. Lelouch says, I like it, Picasso. As always, thank you, and love the work you do. Always nice. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Anthony says, that looks so good, man. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Mikey says, I think I'm onto something with the arms on my project. I must share. Then what are you waiting for, Mike? What are you waiting for, bud? All right. So, anywho, let's get back to the shield insert here, yeah. Bloop. Get the magnet, the clicky thing off to the side. We're gonna get him off to the back. We're gonna get the insert popped out here again. There we go. Get the 1, 2, 3 blocks out here, and we need to adjust these floating notches a little bit. So let's go back to super zoom, yeah? Let's see. Dallas says, I was kind of concerned about the size of the shield, but I gotta say I dig it. Yeah. I mean, it's small enough, you know? It's small enough. It's a good size for, you know, kind of what the theme is, I think. So, yeah, I dig it. I dig it. All right. So, yeah, this one is definitely lower than this one across the top, but it's also lower down here than this one is. So I think we're going to have to extend these. Or fill them in with super glue or something. But I definitely cannot let this go because, yeah, these are definitely sized and placed different, which I'm not sure how that happened because we measured these. So that's unfortunate, to say the least. To say the least. Anywho, all right. So with that being said, this one's higher, so we need to go a little bit higher with this, right? So let's start with that, and then we'll kind of figure where we go from there. Alright, so I'm just nibbling away at this thing. Alright, so I think what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna do a naughty. I'm gonna push. But again, like I've said, this is not for the faint of heart. This is not for the inexperienced. And this is a definitely do as I say, not as I do type of situation. So, all right, I think that will get us much closer to where we need to be. All right. Yeah. Okay, cool. That, I think, will do quite good here for us. nice. Okay. All right, we're getting pretty low on that plastic there, so I don't want to go any deeper. That's getting dangerously thin there. I may end up having to back this because I can see light through this. That's not great. Oh man, oh man. Do I just start over? Fuck. Do I fill these in and just start over? That's the big question here. That's what's got me perplexed. Shit. Okay. So, here we go. Frickin' super glue. Alright, here we go, kids. We're filling them in. Fuck it. If I'm not happy with them now, I'm never going to be happy with them. You know what I mean? So, sometimes you just gotta chalk it up to, you know what? This first one was good. The second one didn't match. They need to match. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And if you're not happy with your own work, then it's going to haunt you. You know what I mean? It's going to haunt you, and you'll never get past it. Even when this thing is built and it looks immaculate and could come out wonderful and yada yada yada, you've got to be happy with it, and you've got to know in your heart of hearts that, you know what? Yeah, that shit is tight. So yeah, we're doing the right thing here. It sucks, but we're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? We're doing the right thing. So, frustrating. Frustrating, you know? Very, very frustrating. Let's see. George says, if you're questioning the final look, you have your answer, Tim. Oh, 100%, George. 100%, yeah. I was just pining over it, honestly. I was just pining over it. Like, I didn't want to do it, but I knew I had to. So, you know, it's just one of those decisions. All right, so we need to do a little bit more filling because it migrated from that edge. So there's like this nice little hole right there that it basically made. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing to this side here because it looks like it migrated a little bit there too. There we are. Try to keep it on one surface though. All right. Let's get another drop of kicker. Bloop. Bloop. There it goes. All right. Cool. We got nice little domes built up over those things. And they were getting thin. That plastic was getting super thin. Like I said, I could see light through the other side, so I wasn't very comfortable with the thickness of those notches, you know, or depth, I should say. So yeah, as much as it sucks, dude, whatever. I mean, it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. So Brandon says exactly, George. Hell yeah. Mike says, the idea behind my thinking is I want something that bridges the new to the unicorn units as a proto-unicorn. I did originally think of using the beam magnum, and it needs a beefy arm for the recoil. Gotcha. Dallas says, hey everyone, what is a good putty for doing small corrections, such as fixing a mishap with a file? Dallas, the only thing, the only putty that I would ever, like a two-parter, the only putty that I would ever recommend is this here. Let me go back to camera 2. Yeah, this stuff here. That's Mia Epoxy Putty Quick Type. Oh, and George just mentioned it, yeah. I mean, this is what I use for everything that I need putty for. So fitting the connection here and filling in the back side of this piece to make this bracket, that yellowish, tannish material there, that's the Tamiya Quick Type. Very easy to work, and if you can find this, I think they have it on, I think they actually have it on Amazon maybe. Let me look for you here real quick. Either that or super glue is a good filler if you don't need a lot, you know. Yeah, either one of those. But let me see if they have it on Amazon. I think they did previously. Oh yeah. Oh shit, here we go. Yeah. That's not a bad price. Shit. That's not a bad price at all. Is that the 25? Yeah, that's the 25 gram box. All right, here, let me get you a link. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna paste it in the YouTube chat here real quick. Boom. There you go. Yeah, I'm looking at $12.80 on Prime. Yeah, that's a pretty good price. That's actually a really good price for that. Shit, that's not bad at all. Yeah, and that's, like I said, that's the only two-part epoxy putty that I will ever use. Ever. So, yeah. Let's see. George says, Life Death Dallas. To me, a quick type two-part epoxy, and or to me a basic. Both are excellent for repair. Dallas says, I think I have the basic. I think. Okay, I have the basic. I think I'll grab some of the quick type. There you go. There you go. George says, to be honest, most two parts are good. Epoxy and Milliput work well too. See, I've never really liked Milliput. I actually have both of their, or shit, I used to have, see, I mean, I've got the super fine white, but I had the other one here. I guess I used it all or threw it away or something. I don't know. Whatever you do, don't get this. Don't ever get this. If you have it, throw it away. But don't ever get this shit. This is terrible. This is the worst stuff on earth. Only get the quick type. This smooth surface crap, throw it away. I don't know. And the only reason why I have this is to warn you guys not to have this. It's crap. It is garbage. Garbage. When it cures, it's like rubbery. It's weird. Really freaking weird. So, yeah. Let's see. Bill says, if I join the zero ZBG activities, ZBG? Zero parts given? Oh, ZPG. There you go. It would be to make an underslung SMG like Shorty Bazooka for the Taoist Dom inspired. Yes! Do it, Bill. Do it! Do it! Brandon says I like it. Yeah. Anthony says, I'm a huge fan of the UV resin nowadays. And you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that because I actually have some of that in my cart, like save for later cart. So, yeah. Dallas says, that's the one I have, Tim, is the super fine milliput. Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I don't prefer milliput. This right here is going to be my choice every single day of the week, twice on Sunday. Simply because it offers everything. You can sand this shit, and I tried it back on the old streams. You can sand this shit almost to a mirror finish. It's crazy. So you can get it obviously super, super smooth. You can integrate it into parts, just like this. And this is all sanded smooth. This passes the fingernail test, everything. You can do the epoxy putty trick with marrying up, two, completely different parts, things like that. Embed a magnet in there, get a nice click, all of that. It's really good stuff. Really good stuff. But yeah, try the milliput first. If you're not happy with it, go for the Tamiya epoxy putty. Hell yeah. So Ty says, wish I could still use epoxy putty, but after resin printing, I've developed an allergy to epoxies. Wow, even using PPE, just a little whiff every now and then, I guess, was enough. Oh my God, dude, that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear about that, man. Holy shit. Dallas says, I want to try UV resin. Hell yeah. Bill says, as for two-part putties, I would recommend a 50-50 mix of Tamiya Quick Type and Epoxy Sculpt. It retains the qualities of both. Milliput can be used instead of Epoxy Sculpt in that mix. Interesting. Ty says, Freddie also was also saying he sculpted with two-part epoxy so much his hands start to tingle now. That's wild. Huh. Brandon says, could the Tamiya Smooth be a good putty for the inner frame rubbery plastic we talked about a few streams back? Probably not. I would never use that shit ever again, I'll be honest with you. Like I said, the only reason why I hang on to it is to show you that it's terrible. Literally. Yeah. Let's see. Dallas says, okay, Bill, thanks, everyone. You're welcome, man. As always, we're here to help. Brandon says, might match its consistency better. Yeah, but still, it's a terrible putty. It really, really is. It has no adhesion to it. Like I said, it's rubbery, and it for whatever reason they call it smooth, it is not smooth. I can get a smoother finished product with the quick type as opposed to the smooth shit. So I don't know why they call it that. It is definitely a misnomer. Yeah. Bill says the UV resin putty is great, but it can continue to off-gas for way too long. Make sure you have a UV blocking clear coat when you paint. Oh shit, I didn't know that. Let's see, Anthony says, okay, it's midnight again, and I had like 1 hour of sleep last night. Oh, I'm so fucking familiar with that. So it's off to bed for me. 4 a.m. comes fast. Later, Tim and everyone. See you in the AM, George and Peter. Anthony, thank you, buddy, for tuning in. Go get some sleep, buddy. Go get some sleep. Bill says, always use nitrile gloves when mixing epoxy. Yeah. See, I use and it's not as good. I will admit that, but I use the water trick to keep it off my hands and everything. So, yeah. Almanac says, sleep well, Tony. 100%. Brandon says, anyone use the Tamiya polyester putty before? I have not. I've only seen Japanese guys use the polyester stuff. I don't know how that is. From what I understand, it's a lot like Bondo, right? Because it kind of has that same mix ratio, kind of that 10-to-1 putty to hardener. So from what I understand, if you've ever worked with Bondo, from what I understand, has the same types of properties. I could be wrong. I've never used the polyester putty before, but that's just kind of what I've gathered from a lot of the Japanese builders and stuff like that, from, you know, the ones that I follow and everything. So Bill says no personal experience with the polyester epoxy. Yeah. It's just one of those things. All right. So, you guys, getting these notches put back in here is gonna definitely have to wait for tomorrow. But let's finish up with getting these surfaces back into shape. Yeah, we've got some nice big old blobs of super glue on here. Everything seems to be filled in quite nicely. So let's get this shit trimmed down, shall we? Alright, here we go. I'm going to use this big old 3mm chisel here. This thing is the fucking tits. I love this big honkin' chisel. It's so good. For clearing and sculpting and everything, I use this to clear out the notch for the magnet in the shield bracket. Oh my god, this thing cleared out so much material so freaking fast. It's nice and sharp, it's square, it is great. I love this thing. I love it. And you can see, like, I'm getting a ton of material off just from, you know, pushing into the super glue. It is much faster than trying to shave it off with, and probably safer too than trying to shave it off with the hobby knife. But you got to be careful, obviously, getting down to the plastic here. Oh shit, there's a little air bubble right there. We may have to fill that back in. Okay. Alright. Alright, so we're going to move back to the hobby knife now and start to really hone this in. There we go. Now we're getting down to it. There we go. All right. Yeah, wow. There's a... Oh, look at all those shavings. Whew. Man, that does a good job. Let's feather that scraping in a little bit more here. Some of the super glue seeped off onto the other edge here, so we're just going to quickly try to remove that. There we go. But yeah, so it looks like we have got a little air bubble right there that we're going to need to fill again. I'll get that here once we're done with the stream. I'm not going to do that right now because I want that to cure and everything. But let's get this other blob off of here. There we go. Get after it, big boy. There it is. Hell yeah. I do love this big ass chisel here. This is good shit. Oh man. To be so enthralled with a 3mm chisel. What is wrong with me? Ow. My fingernails got caught Come on. Alright, we're getting pretty close to knife time here. Yep, alright, cool. Let's get the knife going. Yeah, and seeing there's some little air bubbles in there too. What the shit? Alright, well, I'll fix it. Okay. Here we are. All right. Nice and flat again. Filled in. Fuck a duck. Fuck a duck. Oh, man. C'est la vie. All right. Let's get just a little drops on here just to fill in those little air bubbles. Nothing crazy. There we go. Little drop on that side. All right, we're gonna let those cure naturally. I'm not gonna put kicker on them because I want those drops to seep into the air bubbles there. So all right, let's do one last catch up. Let's go camera 1, and we'll get caught up before we say goodnight here. Let's see, what do we got? Geo says everybody is going to sleep. And I still have a couple more hours. And luckily for me, I have to come in at 4 a.m. tomorrow. Ooh, one day I'll catch George's live stream. Hell yeah. George is good to watch, man. Let's see. Bill says, so on the the Milliput 2-part epoxy, I found it useful in Warhammer as you can roll it into little snakes and push it into gaps. Then smooth it with water and a paintbrush, and it finishes smooth. Oh hell yeah, yeah. I use those same types of techniques with a Tamiya. Yeah, it's good stuff. Geo says I just got to my storage unit so I can build Warhammer for the next few hours. Nice. Almanac says the water trick. The thing with epoxy is you can be okay coming into contact maybe 1 or 1,000 times, but if you're unlucky, you develop epoxy resin allergy. I work with the stuff and have seen it. That's crazy. I've never heard about that before. What the hell? That's incredible. Huh. He says, gotta respect the stuff. Don't suddenly want to be allergic to one's fillings of some such. Yeah. Like, I've dead ass never heard of that type of thing. That's crazy. That's crazy. Holy shit. Dave B says Mori polyester putty and Tamiya polyester putty. I got 320 grams of the stuff myself. They call it yellow mustard stuff. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh man. Michael says, for wanting to have this build of mine finished before I move is becoming more and more of a pipe dream. It happens, dude. Been there, done that. He says, I keep adding more to do. Why do I do this to myself? Welcome to the club, buddy. Dave B, what's going on? Hard to get. Japanese hobby stores won't sell it to you if you're not a local resident. My mother-in-law got them for me. Damn. Dallas says, it's only 10:13 here. Brendan says, hey Tim, in the next couple weeks could I get that groom? Oh shit, yes. Going to start that build soon. Had a dream last night about a samurai build with it. Oh shit, yeah, dude. I pulled, where is it? It's over yonder. It's over yonder here. Shit. So right there, I pulled it, and I will get you the hip piece. I will get you that. So I got like 2 of these. So I'm not going to be hurting for the hip piece or whatever. But yeah, I'll get you that. No worries. Sorry about that, dude. I completely forgot about it with Renee coming and everything, and Amber finishing school and graduating and all that. So yeah, I'll get that out to you ASAP. 100%. Brandon says you can also develop an allergy to CA glue with too much exposure. Shit. Watch out now. Oh, that's bad for me. Brandon says, no rush. Just will forget about it. Yeah, me too. He says, no big deal, man. You're a busy guy. Yeah, it is been busy. I'll be honest with you. Gio says to Bill, I want to get more into 40K. Tomorrow I'll post the squad I put away. Nice. Dallas has a question.
We have a question.
Let's go. Tim, how do you sharpen your chisels, and can I have the head from that grimoire? Yes and sure. Let's see. How do I sharpen chisels? That's an excellent question. The way that you sharpen your chisels, you need a jig, a specialized jig, and then you need diamond plates. And you can get these off Amazon really inexpensively, right? So, and I'll show you kind of what I have here in a second, right? But the most important part is this right here. And I'll show you, we'll go camera 2 and I'll show you what this is. So this is the sharpening jig that I have. This is from a company called Harp. There you go, right there. And this is what it looks like, right? From all angles. You've got your wheel down here. You slide your chisel through here. You lock it down with this, the back dial. You lock it down there. This you can adjust the angle and everything. But of course, you know, I have mine set to 90 because that's all I work with is 90-degree chisels and everything. But then, so you lock everything in. You also have to level your chisel. So here, I'll show you with one of the Kaizos real quick. I'm not going to sharpen it, but I'll show you kind of, you know, how it works, right? So let's loosen this guy up here. So you put it angle side down, right? So angle side down, and then you want to get something flat like a 1, 2, 3 block or something like that, and then you want to get it to the angle where that angle side is completely flat. So let's see, right about there, and then you lock it in. And I'm kind of being ham-fisted with this right now. So you've got that locked in. You've got essentially this flat, right? And this is the angle part is the side that you're going to be sharpening, not the flat side, obviously. And then you've got your diamond plates, right? So these come in different grits. I have 400, 1500, and 3000, right? And obviously you want to progress through the different grits, right? Because you know, the higher you get, especially into the 3000s, the more honing that will take place. And obviously I've used this a pretty good amount, right? So all this is just a little steel plate impregnated with diamond, you know, diamond dust and everything. And you can see, you know, the tungsten coming off on my hands, because that's what these that's what these chisels are made of. This is tungsten carbide, and then it's welded onto a steel shaft, right? So basically, and I'm not going to do this right now, but all you do is take and you just roll it back and forth. You put a little water down to kind of lubricate everything, and you just go back and forth, back and forth. Now, what I always do, and this is kind of the trick that I learned from one of the Japanese guys. Take a Sharpie, right? Take a Sharpie and color that whole edge in, right? Because what you're going to do is you're going to need to finely adjust the angle of this thing, right? So you may have to loosen this up, but once you get it locked in, you should be good to go. But do this on every single chisel that you sharpen. Every single one, right? So as you're going back and forth, obviously that marker will wear down. And you'll see exactly where it's sharpening and where it's not sharpening, more importantly. Because you want a nice, even hone to this. And you just keep going back and forth, back and forth. You get this squared up, and you lock this in, and you do not move it. And then you just keep going. You just go through your progressions in terms of your diamond plates. And that's how you sharpen one of these chisels. Now, this works really, really well with the flat bar chisels. I've never tried it with a round one. But quite frankly, I don't know if they can work within, this type of jig. This style of jig you can get on Temu for like $12-13, and it's not necessarily by Harp. It'll be by some Chinese knockoff brand or something like that, but it doesn't have to be from Harp. That's just the first company that I ever saw make this, and I actually ordered this from Japan. Ryan Bartoletti was nice enough to help me source this, and he got me one of these guys. So yeah, very, very useful, this thing. Now, for the life of me, did I have a second one? I can't remember if I did or not. I don't really remember if I think I might have given that to somebody or sold it, maybe. But at one point I had two of these things, and I think I sold it because I don't see it anywhere in my drawers. Yeah, I must have sold the thing because I don't see it anywhere. But yeah, dude, this will run you maybe $12-13 on Temu. Very inexpensive. These, if I remember correctly, are maybe $10 for each plate. So yeah, totally worth the investment if you have chisels that you want to sharpen and everything. Yeah, and it's not hard. It's just getting the initial angle set with everything and getting that locked in. That's the hardest part of this. But then after that, it's just running through your grits. Oh, that doesn't go in there. Come on, man. Dumbass. Oh, boy. Sorry, you guys. I'm mentally preparing for tomorrow, which is not going to be... It's not going to be easy. I'm going to be honest with you. It is not going to be fucking easy for me. So, get the air out of there. But, yeah. So, 400, 1,500, and 3,000 grit. That's what I have. And that works really, really well. Because the 400, I've actually used on a chipped... I actually brought back a chipped 0.5 from the Dead. It was chipped and gnarly and bad. So bad that I had to buy a replacement. That was before I got the sharpening stuff. Yeah, brought it back from the Dead, resharpened the thing, got the chip ground down with the 400, just went through my progressions, and yeah, the thing is almost, well, shit, it probably is sharper than the day that I bought it, honestly. So, like, here's my newer 0.5, and here's the older one, right? Yeah, honestly, they are both incredibly sharp. Yeah, and if I didn't mark this one with this mark here, I wouldn't have known which is the old one. Now, mind you, this one is a little incrementally shorter, since I had to grind it down quite a lot to take that chip out. But other than that, you couldn't tell the difference. Could not tell the difference. And once you get these sharpened up and really nice, especially after that 3000 grit plate, man, they are going to be almost a mirror finish. And they will be sharp as hell. So just be aware of that. They will be very sharp. Very sharp. So yeah, great question. Great question, Dallas. Let's get caught up here real quick, and then we're going to pack it in for the night. Bill says, yeah, a lot of toxic chemicals you develop allergies to after numerous exposures. Wow. Like how you aren't born allergic to poison ivy, but you become allergic after exposure. Interesting. See, I didn't know any of that. Let's go camera one. Booyah. Here we go. Let's see. Mike says, all right, I'm out. I need to get some food and head to bed. Night, Mikey. Bill says, I used knife sharpening stones to sharpen mine back when I had chisels. There you go. George says, pay attention, kids. This honing technique Tim is showing is excellent. Helped me over the years. Thanks again, Tim. Dude, you're welcome, buddy. I mean, I can't take credit. I copped it off of the Japanese. I learned it from them, so I'm just passing along the info, really. So, George says, FYI, folks, Volks USA has Tamiya Quick Type for $6 for the 25. Oh, shit, that's a good price. That's an outstanding price. Yeah, go get it from there. And I keep forgetting about Volks USA. They used to carry BMC chisels back in the day. Who knows if I doubt they carry them anymore. But yeah, holy shit, that's crazy. Brandon says, nice, thanks for the heads up, George. I'm almost out. Forgot I used it all for my Rhino build. I started and seemingly lost over the last few years. Oh, man. Bill says you can make a sleeve for the round stock ones to work as an adapter for those jigs. Okay. Dallas says, okay, thank you, Tim. I'll definitely look into getting that. Hell yeah. You gave one from Uline to someone years ago. Did I? I don't remember who I sold that to. But yeah, I used to have two. Yeah. Anyway. Let's see. Dallas says, what's tomorrow? Yeah, Bill says, yeah, Amber graduates tomorrow, dude. Yeah, I'm going to be an absolute wreck. So we're doing a daytime stream tomorrow, kids. And that's it. We're doing daytime stream. And then I'm just going to be a fucking mess for the rest of the day. I'm going to admit it right now. I'm going to be crying my fucking eyes out. Gio says can't find it on Amazon or eBay, the chisel sharpener. Dude, Temu has these. Temu. I've seen so many listings for these guys. And like I said, they're like 12, 13 bucks, maybe 15 bucks. Super inexpensive because this thing cost me like 40 off the boat from Japan. So yeah, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do that. Hell yeah. Let's see. Volks USA is about 5 minutes from my house. What? Jealous? Volks still carries BMC, though the mass-produced versions, the round bar stock. Yeah, not my flavor. Chris reminds me I can't find my damn chisels. Been looking. Oh, man. Well, look harder, Chris. You gotta find them. Gotta find them. Oh man. All right, you kids. I'm tapping out. It's what, 12:30? Yeah, 12:30 on the dot. So, we'll be back tomorrow, daytime stream, 12 to 2, normal time. And then Amber's graduation is at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And be on the lookout for, some Instagram stories and things like that from me tomorrow on that and everything. So, yeah, it's crazy. She's like, it feels so weird. And I'm like, yeah, it will. It will. Oh yeah, and Brandon says, don't forget to check out the community page and get started on your homework. Yes, 0 parts given. Go check that out. Brandon posted the first task, I guess, for everybody for this week. The due date is next Wednesday's stream, so bring your A game. It's a very simple first task. Basically, you make your own chisel out of an old hobby knife. Super easy. Everyone can do that. Everyone can do that. Everyone, if you're into modeling, has some sort of old, dull X-Acto blade, number 11 or something like that, and you can absolutely do this. So, if you're already using chisels, you're already ahead of the game. But if you don't, now's your chance. Now's your chance. So, hell yeah. Brandon says, good luck, Tim. Bring lots of tissues. Oh, you better believe it. George says, good night, Tim et al. Congrats to Amber. Cry your eyes out. It's totally fine. Thank you, George. I appreciate you, buddy. Chris says, can I pass off a MadWorks chisel off as one? Yeah, man, go for it. Like I said, if you're already using chisels, man, you're already ahead of the game. You're already ahead of the game. You're probably a couple steps ahead of the game then. So, but Brandon's got some cool stuff planned out for this thing. I'm gonna let him run with it, and I'll support it every step of the way and post it about it and everything. But yeah, it's gonna be really fun, really fun. So I hope you guys take part. I really, really do, because I think it's gonna be really cool stuff. So yeah. Brandon says, go for it. It's just the start of a small series. Exactly. Go for it. So, anyway. All right, kiddos. I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to get this thing cleaned up, this shield, and re-notched and all of that, and try to make it look halfway decent. So, all right. Kids, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Let's see. Bill says, I will try to find a chisel sharpening jig to link later. Excellent. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. All right, kiddos. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Stay safe out there. Build something cool, and yeah, have a great rest of your night. Bye.